Today I'm with Dan Blum at Infosec. Dan, could you just introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. I'm a Senior Vice President and Principal Analyst at Burton Group. We're a research and advisory firm, and I work in the security and risk management strategies area.
Okay, that's great. Now, Dan is taking part in the keynote on who got caught out in the last 12 months. And he's just going to give you guys a brief synopsis of what he'll be talking about.
Right, so it's a panel, and I hope it'll have some very interesting discussions, but some of the issues I want to bring up are just some references to the people in the audience about lots of information that you can get on breaches that have occurred in the US and the UK, long lists that are maintained, and what's causing a lot of these problems? Well, we're hearing a lot more about it because of disclosure laws, and that's a good thing, but it's not such a good thing that there are so many of them.
Sure.
Yeah. Often it's because of lost media, lost laptops, lost computers, but also there's been serious catches, so to speak, of insider risks, like the Societe Generale, where a trader cost them billions of dollars. There's also been the Heartland exploit, where a piece of targeted malware got into their network and sent millions of credit cards off to the bad guys. And something similar happened with the Joint Strike Fighter program, although I don't have as many details on that. So we're having all sorts of problems with breaches, and it kind of reflects the crime motivation, the economic motivation of the criminals, and the increased amount of our identity that is virtual or digital, and the difficulty of keeping that secret. Some thoughts that I've had about that are that organizations need to address the problem at both a strategic and a tactical level. Tactically, you must have, kind of a full spectrum defense, layered defense, where you protect the data, you protect against malware, you protect against insiders. Strategically, there's a couple things that should be done in regard to reducing information sprawl through better practices with endpoint virtualization, better practices with technologies like terminal services. Encryption is very important, but it's kind of like boiling the ocean, or at least a small lake, to try to encrypt every system in your environment. So there's a lot of things that organizations should address to handle these breach problems.
Can you tell us how information sprawl occurs?
It occurs because we don't really classify or track all our information, and with technologies like cloud computing coming into play, it's actually going to get worse.
Yes.
And so we have to look at ways to rein it in, and I think the endpoint virtualization technologies, desktop virtualization, terminal services, application virtualization are very promising because they cause data to be kept back in data centers rather than sitting out on many different systems. And as our networks get faster and more available, and as those technologies mature, we can keep the information under better central protection while still making it available to the users that need to have it.
Right.
And I think that will cause a lot of the breaches that just result from lost media in the backs of taxi cabs and tapes falling off of trucks to become a little less of a problem.
I think people will always lose their laptops. I don't think we can stop that, but certainly we can encrypt the information on that to make it harder for potential bad guys.
Yes, so definitely encrypting the laptop is the best practice, but keeping sensitive information in the data center and not on laptops is a good one as well.
Sure. So back to information sprawl. I have a bit of information. I work on the document. I decide to take it home with me and work it there. So now the information is in two places. How does it further get expanded? I suppose I could email it to somebody else for checking.
Yes.
I'm just trying to track this bit of information that's going around that's confidential and finding out how it gets into different places.
And there's multiple copies, and it's emailed to different people, and it's placed in shared folders. It's backed up. It's sitting on servers. So the same piece of information may expand into multiple copies through multiple media.
Right.
And unless it's something really obvious and you have a good data loss protection system in place, it's going to be difficult to find it.
Right. And what's your recommendation to stop that from happening?
The recommendation is to look at centralized information management. So the information is stored in data centers, and you access applications through terminal servers. Consider desktop virtualization as a way, again, to keep the desktop itself in the data center, or you could say, you might say, in the cloud, rather than proliferating on, having information proliferate on all these systems.
So in other words, you're stopping people from saving it locally on the hard disk by having a virtual desktop or by having a terminal server.
Yes.
So it has to stay on the server.
Yes.
And also, presumably with a terminal server, they can't copy it to a USB stick and take it away because, again, you can ban that on the terminal services.
Yeah, you can control that on the terminal services. You can also have controls on the endpoint that prevent copying of information.
Right.
Now, I don't want to make this look like an oversimplified solution, because there's always the problem of users needing to work offline and things like that. But as the desktop virtualization and endpoint virtualization technology matures, they'll be able to apply policies to desktops so that they can be online or offline for specific periods of time.
Right.
And so you can control how much information is allowed to live offline versus how much has to stay online, where you can protect it.
Okay. Dan, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, you're welcome.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben Chai. I'm the editor for securityvibes.com. If you've enjoyed this video or have any other comments to make, please do fill in the comment boxes and let us know what you think. Thank you.